I still remember the exact second my world cracked open. The screen door slapped shut behind me, and a stranger's voice sliced through the air like a kitchen knife. "Tell your mama to wait outside. We're eating." I stood there clutching a mason jar of fig preserves I'd canned myself, the glass slick with condensation and my own nerves. The house I'd signed over to my daughter, Elise, smelled of burnt bacon and too many bodies. Children I'd never met chased each other through my grandmother's dining room. A toddler wailed from a playpen wedged where Elise's baby grand piano used to be. And there, at my stove, was Marlene, Robert's mother, wearing Elise's favorite apron like a victory flag. Elise appeared in the doorway, hair twisted up with a pencil, eyes red-rimmed and ancient. She opened her mouth, closed it, then managed a whisper that barely reached me. "Hey mom. No hook. No es mai." Just that whisper, thin as onion skin. Marlene never turned around. She flipped a piece of sausage the way some people flip the bird. I set the figs on the counter anyway. No one thanked me. A cousin, maybe Darren, maybe Devin, shouldered past with a long-neck beer and the sour smell of last night still on him. He didn't speak, didn't nod. I might as well have been a ghost. Elise trailed me into the hall, wringing her hands like dish towels. "They needed a place after the accident," she said, voice trembling. "Robert's uncle. It was only supposed to be a few days." 6 months, I thought. 6 months since I'd stood on this porch and pressed the deed into her paint-stained fingers. 6 months since she'd looked at me with hollow eyes and asked if running ever fixed anything. I'd promised her this land would be different. 112 acres, the house paid down to the studs by my own overtime, title in her name alone. A clean break. A fresh canvas. "You choose what grows here," I'd told her. Now strangers grew everywhere. I noticed the little things first, the way you notice termites only after the floor caves in. The guest room light burning at 3 a.m. The master bedroom, hers and Robert's, locked from the inside while Elise slept on the couch under a quilt too short for her legs. Marlene drinking the first cup of coffee every morning like she'd ground the beans herself. My daughter apologizing when she reached for the creamer. Yesterday I'd offered to cook. "I've got it, Mom," Elise had said too fast, eyes darting toward Marlene's back. I ate cold toast in silence while Marlene planned a cousin's gender reveal party at my table. Later, Elise walked me out to the barn she'd converted into a studio the year she graduated art school. The walls used to bleed color. Canvases leaning 3 deep, mason jars of lavender and turpentine, sunlight pouring through the skylight I'd installed myself. Today the skylight was cracked, the jars gone. The walls bare except for one stubborn hook still screwed into the beam. Someone's damp towels hung from it like surrender flags. "I haven't painted since March," she said, almost laughing at how ridiculous that sounded that I wanted to scream. Instead I asked, "When are they leaving?" She knelt to pull a thistle from the flower bed, thorns pricking through her gloves. "They keep saying after the next thing. After the memorial race. After the estate's settled. After." She stopped, stared at the weed in her hand like it might speak. "Robert says it's easier if everyone just stays." Easier for who? I thought. The sun was dropping behind the ridge when I finally walked back to my truck. Elise followed, barefoot despite the gravel. She touched the jar of preserves I'd left on the counter, now pushed to the back like an afterthought, and traced the paraffin seal with one finger. "You drove all this way for this?" she asked. "I drove all this way for you." She looked at me then, really looked, and I saw the girl who once painted an entire mural of fireflies on the hallway wall, because she wanted light that never went out. "Mom," she started, then glanced over her shoulder at the house. Inside, someone turned on the porch light early, the yellow glow spilling across the yard like a warning. I don't know how to ask them to leave. It's complicated. I heard what she didn't say. They never asked to come. They just never left. And she'd been too tired, too polite, too afraid of being the bad guy to draw the line. I reached into my pocket and pulled out the spare key I'd kept the day we closed, the one I'd sworn I'd never use. I pressed it into her palm and folded her fingers over it. "This is still your house," I said. "Not Robert's. Not Marlene's. Yours. Locks were invented for a reason, baby." Her breath hitched. I kissed her forehead, tasting salt and 2 decades of worry. "You decide what grows here," I repeated. "Starting tonight." As I backed down the drive, I watched her in the rearview mirror, small silhouette against that too bright porch light, key glinting between her fingers like a match about to strike. I didn't know if she'd use it. I only knew I'd given her the only thing I had left to give. Permission to take her life back, one turn lock at a time.